This was a time before smartphones, when there was still adventure to be had, when you didn't know what may be around the corner, where you couldn't even imagine some of the surprises and things you might find or eat or see. We used to have to read books like Lonely Planet, and we'd go to the library or the bookstores and we'd find as much written material as we could on all these places. Now, unfortunately, everything is more homogenized. Everything looks the same. Skyscrapers, subways, Starbucks. These are the journals of Freddie Lieberman, along with his brother Maury Lieberman, or to many of the places that he sent me to. So sit back, relax, and enjoy at a time when travel was travel. May 28th, 1989, Sunday. Leslie drops Maury and I at National. Washington is having the most beautiful day of the year, and it seems strange to leave when the weather is prime. The trip begins at 4 p.m. The pace is leisurely, and unlike past adventures, the word rush will not be in our vocabulary. It will be nice not to swim for the ferry, run to catch the train, or scramble to stuff one's body in the back of a bus.
Lucky us, a smooth flight from National to JFK. Lo and behold, the Pan American flight pulls up to Gate 1, right by the street. Luck is with us. The Pan American terminal is right next to the international terminal where Aer Lingus flies out of. Check-in is easy. Then Freddie says, "Let's eat." The restaurant is almost at the complete other end of the terminal. We stagger to the restaurant and 2 cheeseburgers, a fruit cup, and $20 later. Freddie and I drag our bodies back to the other side of the terminal from whence Aer Lingus leaves. I make a last call to Leslie in Washington and we board the plane right on time. Freddie is beginning to see that there are a few advantages to being handicapped. We get on the plane first and avoid the crowds. We are seated in executive class, real soft, wide first-class seats with no one in front. This will be one of our more comfortable flights abroad. Besides, the flight will be only 6 hours, a commuter flight by some of our Asian trip standard. Time to settle back and relax.
May 29th, Monday. Exhaustion and bleary-eyed, I move my watch 6 hours ahead to 3 a.m. to be on Ireland time. Dinner is served, a tasteless mix of chicken and potatoes. Maury says he will watch the movie. I immediately try to get sleep, knowing in 6 hours I'll be driving the roads of Ireland. The flight to Shannon was so smooth, the plane barely quivered, and with so much room flying executive class, it was like being in someone's living room. Shannon Airport was a calm place, without the frenetic activity we've encountered at other destinations. Outside, we pick up our rented Fiesta. The temperature seems brisk, and a dramatic cloud cover greets us with hints of rain. Everywhere you look, you see green, green hills and rocks. As I ease the car onto the highway, I repeat a mantra in my brain, which I will need for this journey. Stay left. Stay left. Our first stop is the Cliffs of Moher. A mist has rolled in, but it cannot hide the awesome quality of Moher. Moray sits on a rock wall, and I venture further up. There is no protection, and brave souls that go to the edge of these cliffs crawl there on their bellies. The clouds break and the views change, giving the place an atmosphere of beauty and mystery. Back on the road, I am beginning to get a taste of Irish driving. The roads at times are very narrow, stone walls line each side, and shoulders are non-existent. It takes all my concentration to keep on the curving and narrow paths. When buses are approaching, I stop and let them pass me. We stop in Kinvara and have lunch in a local cafe. I have a local crab salad, Moray the baked mussels in garlic and breadcrumbs. Each town we pass through has old English charm, with colorful stone fronts and row houses. The landscapes of green roll through hills and vast panoramas. Sheep graze dotting the hills like happy fat bales of hay. Finally, near the Ben Mountains, I have to pull over. I can barely stay awake. I lean back and sleep comes hard. It is 20 minutes later, but I feel like I've slept for 2 hours. It is enough to give me the final energy to drive the rest of the way. We pass more pastoral scenes, peat bogs being mined, and animals grazing along the road. We finally get to Clifton around 4 p.m. and pull into the Rock Glen County House Hotel. There is a miniature pony in the parking lot, and he greets us. After scratching his nose and ears, we enter one of the loveliest places we have ever been. The ambiance is one of peacefulness and calm. All the amenities of civilization among the rolling hills of County Galway. The room is full of warmth, with a Roman couch, an antique vanity, 2 beds, and a window looking out towards the garden. I tell Moray I feel like I'm on my honeymoon. After check-in, we go into Clifton and window shop. Looking at tweeds and knits, we stop at My Tea Shop and have high tea before dinner. The time has eluded us and we get back to the hotel for dinner. At 9:30 p.m. we are in the dining room. The light is low and the atmosphere is sedate and dignified. People were speaking in hushed tones, and the room was putting us into a relaxed, pampered state. Moray began his meal with smoked trout. I had the baked mussels and garlic breadcrumbs. After leisurely consuming course 1, Moray got the cream of lettuce soup. I had the gazpacho. Moray's main dish was baked sea trout, and I had the grilled salmon in hollandaise sauce. A contented hour passes, and we end the meal with strawberry pavlova, and I have a creme brulee to die for. Afterwards, we move into the reading room for tea. One Englishman is looking for some people to play bridge or poker. I am so exhausted. I leave Moray for bed, and within 15 minutes, he returns to the room. We watch the TV till midnight and finally get some rest and do not wake up until 9 a.m. Tuesday, May 30th. A late start, but obviously our bodies needed it. Our destination is Sligo, and most of the roads are main highways, and after the normal narrow roads of yesterday, these are welcomed. It allows me to drive 60 or 70 miles per hour, making remarkable time. When you do have time, the tiny twisting coastal roads are worth the experience for scenic beauty. Halfway to Sligo, we stop at the Briefy Inn for lunch. The entrance was on one-lane path shrouded by dense overhanging trees. Another quaint hotel with a meal, so gratifying I could not stop smiling. Even the potatoes were made to perfection, and we were given 2 apiece. Unfortunately, the meal was so plentiful that we could only eat 1. Back on the road, the landscape shined as the sun made its appearance and stayed. Our final destination tonight is Primrose Grange Farm, built in 1725. It is a bed and breakfast located on a mountain outside of Sligo. Time seems endless. The days are extremely long and night comes at 11 p.m. After getting our room, we drive through Sligo and on the outskirts visit Yeats's grave. It is located in an old churchyard, almost in the shadow of Ben Bulbum, a majestic mountain that watches over the whole area. We continue on to the seashore past ruined castles. The day gets more spectacular, and a cool wind blows constant from the sea. The road narrows to 1 lane and finally dead ends at Ragley. Here the seacoast is calm, and nature is showing her best where water meets the land. It is getting late, yet the daylight continues. Back in Sligo, we eat at the hotel in the downtown area. While waiting for our meal, we have Southwick Ale, a dark brew that is so smooth it feels like and tastes like a cream. We down the pint effortlessly. After dinner, we get back to the Primrose around 10:30 p.m. and sit in the tea room to read. Maury engages an Italian couple and then meets an old alumni that lives in Georgetown. A little after midnight, we get to bed. The room is cold, but once buried under a mound of blankets, we are soon sawing logs. May 31st, Wednesday. We wake up at 8 a.m. Maury and I exercise, and we're down for breakfast. A real Irish country breakfast. Porridge, bacon, sausage, eggs on toast, juice, and tea. The day is gloomy, and as we leave Sligo, the rain begins. Our destination is the border, Northern Ireland. The roads are almost modern, wider, and I make great time. In 3 hours, we get to Derry. We drive past the Irish guardhouse and cross a no man's land. At the other side, an English soldier tells us to wait. Then he tells us to drive the car into a metal shed. Once in the shed, another soldier looks at the car, and another one with a dog walks around, having the canine sniff for who knows what. All the soldiers have deadly-looking automatic weapons. They motion us on, and we stop for gas, then enter the town of Derry. Here we encounter a road check. Soldiers in full battle gear, automatic rifles, and communication devices are checking all cars going in and out. Our soldiers request identification, then in rapid-fire manner ask us about 20 questions. How long are you going to be in Belfast? Where did you come from? Etc. Once past that checkpoint, normalcy sets in and we find Northern Ireland lovely, very English with roads that are more civilized. We drive to Port Stewart on the coast and get the last room at the Edgewater Hotel. Port Stewart is a lovely town, and we have lunch on the main drag that overlooks the water. The wind is blustery, and the cool temperature feels like the onset of winter. Lunch warms us up and gives us the energy to visit the Giant's Causeway. It is said this formation of basalt rocks connected Ireland to Scotland. The causeway is an amazing display of nature, and the rain stops to let us enjoy the scene even more. Then, the adventure continues along the coast as we head for Ballycastle. The drive is the most spectacular drive I have ever experienced. The panoramic views of land and sea were and are beyond description. At times, the road looked like it would drop off into the sea. At other times, the heights were dizzying, and the road became a roller coaster. The main problem with the scenic road is that it is so narrow that at some of the most visual moments, there is no place to pull over to enjoy the scene. At Ballycastle, we discovered a quaint town with hotels along the water. We also discover the place where Marconi made his first radio transmissions. From Ballycastle, we take the main roads back. On these roads, I can do 60 miles per hour with confidence. Soon we are back in Port Stewart looking for dinner. The clouds have thinned, and the sun is showering the area in a golden light that makes the town glow. Dinner is taken at O'Neill's. The menus are beginning to look alike. As usual, Maury and I eat potatoes with the meal. Afterwards, we watch the sun dip behind the clouds and give off an evening light show. By 10 p.m., we are in our room, relaxing. Daylight still hangs in the air, and psychologically, we feel up. At 11 p.m., I take up some reading, ready to call it a day. June 1st, Thursday. Another beautiful day in Ireland. Dramatic clouds and lots of sun. We have breakfast in the dining room, and the window overlooks a mile of beach. After our Irish breakfast, we check out and head for the beach. We drive up and down the damp sand. The beach is so big that our car is like a sand flea in the scale of things. Back on the road, I do speeds of 70 miles per hour and make even greater time. More than halfway to our destination, we stop in a pub in a town called Grenard. We are with the locals, and we order shepherd's pie and Smithwick ale. Earlier, when we crossed the border back into Ireland, the English soldier waved us through. We were disappointed that they didn't have the dog sniff our car leaving the country. Then, the Irish border guard wished us a happy holiday. Several miles in, we passed 2 Irish soldiers on foot in full battle gear. It seemed strange until a mile further, there was a checkpoint, and all cars were stopped, and questions were asked. I'm sure when they see Maury's crutches in the back seat, they see us as a non-threatening. Our final destination tonight was the Spa House in Castle, Cornwall. Or maybe it's Castle Cornell. The house is located on the Shannon River. The view from the backyard lifts one's soul. Swans and ducks swim along the riverbanks. The sound of rushing water is loud and constant. Green plants are everywhere, and they sway in a gentle breeze. Nature is truly in tune here. After checking in and complimenting ourselves for finding one of the most beautiful spots in Ireland, we do a drive-through in Limerick. It is the third largest city in Ireland, and it looks it. At 5 p.m., it seems all the merchants close shop, and the town becomes dead very quickly. So we stop in the only lively place around, the mall. Small by our standards, and if you do not look too closely, you could be anywhere. It is getting late, and we take a leisurely drive to Killaloe for dinner at Peter's. The setting along the river is so peaceful and beautiful. We're overcome with contentment, and this is the way to spend the last day in Ireland. We continue to feast on potatoes and fish. Both are in abundance here. Whenever we order fish in a coastal or river area, we can find out it was caught locally, and the taste has backed up that claim to freshness. We end up back at the spa house at 9 p.m. We consider this early since dusk falls between 10:30 and 11 p.m. We read until we fall asleep. June 2nd, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Irish breakfast at home. I rarely eat this much food in the morning. By 9:30, we are on the road to Shannon. The 5 days went quickly, and I think I did a driving record of 850 miles. After check-in, Maury and I spend our last pounds in the duty-free store. I buy a legendary knit cardigan and spend the rest of my pounds on cookies, candy, and honey. Since Maury is on crutches, we are always first aboard. It makes things easier to find storage when you have the whole plane to yourself. The flight back was uneventful, as I believe it is so short. I spent the time eating, drinking, and reading. I set my watch back 5 hours in New York. Maury is transported through customs via wheelchair, and we cut our time in half. In 2 hours, we leave for Washington. Leslie is waiting, relieved to see Maury. The only glitch was our luggage got misrouted and was delivered a day later. This was the first trip that Maury went on after beating a rare medical condition that almost took his leg. He was determined to see the world again, and the world welcomed him with open arms, and the adventures continued. Thank you for joining us at a time when travel was travel.